Those of you that were here yesterday, they had full presentations. For the purposes of this panel discussion, I'll give each about a minute or two to introduce himself or herself and the organization. They will have various questions going to them directly, individually, or collectively. And we'll also be looking at the mortgage bit. He does mortgages in the UK. Well, you will explain to us. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Owusu Frimpong. I am moderating this. I'm a media consultant and a member of the Ghanaian community, and I've always had the pleasure of working with Anna and Vicky. How many times have we done that? 5 times before? Yes, and this is my 6th. I missed the COVID ones because I was asked to isolate. They did, not the doctors. So I'll first of all, I'll hand you the mic, introduce yourself, what you do, and we'll pass it on, then we'll come to the questions.
Okay, so good afternoon, everybody. How's everyone today? Feeling okay? All right. Well, I see a lot of familiar faces again from the last time we've done it, and also this time around as well. So, very quickly, I'm a mortgage specialist, so qualified mortgage consultant, and also independent financial advisor. That's what I do. We specialize in doing, residential mortgages, buy-to-let mortgages, and there's actually a long list of other types of things that we do as well. All right.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon again. Nice to see you all. Thank you for coming. My name is Wasim Khan, and I am the head of sales and marketing for DevTraco Plus, based in Accra, of course. And I think that's the basic introduction of mine. So we obviously, as you know, DevTraco Plus is the real estate property developer, as we all know, residential and commercial, and has been established for many years, and a Ghanaian-owned company for the last 30 years almost in Accra. So this is where I am based too, since last 7 months. So thank you once again for coming in. I'll pass on to my colleague.
Hello. So my name is Efwa, head marketing and sales for Ghana Properties. We're the lead sponsors for this year's expo. We are basically the leading real estate developers in the country. We have over 25 years of experience in both commercial and residential developments across the country. We have commercial tenants like PwC, EY, Huawei, one of the biggest law firms in the country, as well as GIPC, and many more. Yes, that's my introduction.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nazir. I represent Val Real Estate. We are an Egyptian Turkish-owned company. Head office is in Turkey, Istanbul. We've branched into, with over 20 years of experience, we've branched into Africa. Our main footprint is in Kenya, with over 7 towers launched in Kenya, and 3 already built and handed over. We are now in Accra, and we're excited about that. We've launched 2 projects in Accra, Harmonia Villas and Harmonia Residence. The Harmonia Residence is studios 1, 2, 3 beds with Sky Villa, Accra's first and only Sky Villa. And Harmonia Residence. Harmonia Villas is 8 townhouses, luxury, state-of-the-art, in cantonments. And yeah, thank you. And we're here today to answer your questions.
Thank you very much, all 4 of you. We have Vanessa, who yesterday did a presentation on the exit strategy in your life. At a point in time, we'll bring her as part of the panel. But first of all, let me ask, there was this question that came yesterday, and even though you gave individual answers, I want to put it again, that we hear of your properties only in Accra. Why Accra? Is there any risk going to other parts of the country? It's a question to all 3 of you.
Okay, I'll start first. My understanding is that there's so much needs and requirements to be have to be built in and to develop the Accra itself first. Being a capital city of Ghana, I believe there's so much of potential. There are a lot of opportunities. There's a big focus in terms of overall development as in the country, infrastructure development, in general real estate, in terms of the residential and commercial. So basically, the demand and supply factor in any business, you can imagine. So the demand of renting, buying, investing is predominantly focused in Accra. But I'm sure, saying that, as Ghana progresses along and as it develops further, there is a definitely great potential for everybody to expand further, to move into the rest of the country, and I'm sure that will be the case in the near future. Right now, Accra is the most popular destination for people living in the country itself and the diaspora abroad, whether it's in Europe or everywhere else. This is possibly one of the logical reasons I could think of.
Right. So if any of your clients has a piece of land in, say, Kumasi, or a property that could be developed into a different purpose use, would you do that?
Okay, so currently Gold Key, we are into JVs, joint venture. We are doing it currently in Accra. But if someone does reach out to us for Kumasi, we can look into it. But currently we do not have plans yet. To answer the question that you posed, I think one of the reasons why majority of the developers are currently in Accra is, like I mentioned yesterday, there's so much to do in Accra, we're not done yet. The infrastructure, the roads, there's some places that you go to, you won't believe is actually in the capital of a country. So there's so much work to do. But in addition to that, I think there has to be a pull factor for you to go into a city or town. If I should build in a city, maybe let's choose Kumasi. A lot of people there, based on market research, correct me if I'm wrong, would like to build themselves. They like to acquire the land, build themselves. Cost to them, they want to build because of the cost of land there, they want to build to the taste and preference. They want to build large houses with, like I said, jacuzzi, rooftop, whatever they want to do. So they prefer that. The pull factor that would take someone, a developer to tackle is tourism. Based on your return, tourism is, up and coming. We have all these historic artifacts and places, castles we need to preserve. That's the pull factor. If a developer should go into Takra, they should go to Central Region, all those places where we have these things, and build apartments for tourism. Then when I come to On Point, you would buy, because my pull factor is tourists are going to come there, they're going to stay there. So the pull factor adds on to reasons why we would move to other places. Okay, my answer is done. It's a long answer, but it's done. It's fine. Yeah, so it's
T. Hello, T.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just the pull factors that would pull developers, because it makes sense. They'll go wherever makes sense. Val will go to Takrady if all of us we're building, we're preserving these castles and all these historic places for diasporans coming and people who've heard of, just not to come to Accra and chill. That's not it. Just go to Cape Coast. There's good accommodation. People are developing, pull factors will pull us from Accra.
Val, would you want to add anything to that?
Hi, for me, it's more of just demand and supply. If the demand is there, Val, Deftraco, Gold Key, we're ready to supply it. It's just a numbers thing. So once the demand is there, be in Kumasi, Takoradi, wherever, we are as developers, and it's for you. At the end of the day, when we supply the real estate, we supply the projects. We're not the ones buying it. You're the ones buying it. And as a business person, you are buying for investment. You're buying for luxury, for you to live in it. If I give you an apartment that you're going to buy and you're not going to be able to rent out and live in London and get your returns from it, you're not going to be interested in that investment. And basically, that's where it boils down to. A good investment, once the demand is there, we're ready to supply it. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. The financing of the properties that we have our distinguished developers provide, how do we go about it? Yesterday the question was posed, and I'm putting it again, that can I finance what they sell from here? Would you be able to put through something for me to have a mortgage from here, for instance, to finance a project back in Ghana?
Yeah, so yesterday you answered that same question. We most certainly can help someone in the UK that's got a property in the UK and has got the financial means to refinance a current asset here. If you need to do that, we can help you with that. It's absolutely possible. There are scenarios where you might own a property residentially, and we'd obviously just assess your income and impartially look at your situation. And you also equally might be a buy-to-let person, investor, whether that's through your personal name or limited companies. Perhaps you've got a portfolio of properties. We can again assess and look at how you can release funds to purchase a property abroad. And then there's another scenario I mentioned yesterday very briefly, where you've got someone who's again of a more mature age, who perhaps may think that actually they can't release any money because, for example, they're over 60, close to retirement age, but they've got quite a good amount of equity in their property that they've built up over time. And even if their income has gone down, and they wouldn't normally be able to support a mortgage, we have got mortgages for that type of solution as well. So perhaps you've got, your parents or grandparents, they may be in that position where they actually want to see you invest in Ghana, or there is that possibility. So I wouldn't write it all off, is what I'm trying to say. There's a wide range of ways we can help you, provide a solution.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, these distinguished personalities are at your disposal. If you have any questions, please, this is the time to start. Ask. Either collectively or individually, you can pose a question. Anybody to start? Oh, they have one. Okay. Yes, Bernard has a question.
So this question goes to Val. Do you have a management company yourself? And if you do, what is the experience?
Thank you very much, Mr. Bernard, for the question. All right, same. Okay, management company. We will manage our own projects. We've done that in Kenya. By the time when it's still early on right now, but when we're close to the handing over stage, Val will start its sister company, which is going to be doing the management of the projects. And in Kenya, we currently, they're already experiencing that. They already have their management because they've already handed over 3 projects. And so far, the reviews are good. They're liking the management so far concerning that. I hope that answers your question. So we will have, in the end, we will have our own company managing it instead of a third party. However, one development in Kenya actually took the project and gave it to a hotel. We signed up a hotel to actually manage the whole project for us. So that's something that we can do as well. And again, that's worked out very well for the investors for that project.
Well, with the management, Gold Key, do you have something like a system like that? And how does it work?
Okay, so we have a company, a subsidiary of Gold Key, that manages all our properties, so both residential and commercial. So that's what we do. So it's even though we sell the entire building, we're still managing it because we want our assets to appreciate well and the returns to still remain. So you see properties that we've had 10, 15 years that still look solid because of property management. Yeah.
And DevTrafco, you have an arrangement like that?
Absolutely, yes, we do. The management company which we have is called the TALIS, TALIS. This has been established since last 12 years and has been part of the DevTrafco group. And this is purely to maintain, manage, and obviously to acquire new properties at the same time in terms of looking after our existing portfolio as well as we add on to more. So it's basically pretty much in-house facilities. We look after our tenants in terms of bringing in new, vetting, all the administration process, managing, collecting the rent, the revenue, depositing into the investor's account, etc. So it's all taken care in-house.
Right. Any question? Any other question? Yes.
Hi. Just a question, because there was a few times mentioned about returns. So as a prospective investor, what type of returns would you say is typical in in Accra for your developments, in terms of maybe rental yields, or just over 2-3 years if I want to sell? What type of returns am I kind of, or I'll be kind of talking about?
Okay, I'll start. Okay, so we're looking at between 8 to 11%. I'm talking for Gold Key. I mean, Val and Def Traco Plus might have the same or different answers. So with Gold Key, because we do both residential and commercial, it helps us. So I think our biggest tenant is the American Embassy. We have British High Commission as well. Most of the embassies in the country, especially the ones in airport, they take all our townhouses. And for Cantonment City, which is a mixed-use development that we currently are developing, we have the likes of PwC, EY, Huawei, ENS, Africa, all the brands. So what happens is they reach out to us first when they need space for their clients or the consultants. So what we are currently experiencing with looking at our residential portfolio is a 90% lease, occupancy. Sorry. Yes, I just got the noise at the background. It's a bit, but it's fine. So we're looking at 90% across all our residential portfolio at the moment. So as an investor, when you buy a property, you can rest assured it's going to be rented out, looking at our record and the people we work with. Yeah.
All right. Concerning Val Real Estate, again, we've not completed a project in Ghana, but I have great experience in Ghana. So just to give you a quick brief, and just for you to know that I'm not just talking on behalf of Val right now. I'm born and bred in Ghana, so I've lived my whole life in Ghana. So the experience I'm giving you, or the facts I'm giving you right now, are quite solid. So occupancy rate for studios and one beds, go there first, at over 90%. It gets down slightly lower with 2 and 3 beds, but you're still looking around the 80% mark concerning that. And concerning rental and yield, with our projection with our properties, you're looking at a minimum of 15% onwards. One studio that we classed, if I do the presentation, I can show you the numbers. If you get a studio right now in Cantonments, is being rented out for $1,900. This is gross, $1,900 a month. We're doing our studio calculation at $1,500 a month, and you're hitting 20% for our studio. And this is not the cheapest studio. This is the mid-range studio that we're giving you out for today. So yeah, if that answers your question, your ROIs are looking at least, you should be aiming, as an investor in the diaspora, you're going to have charges, service charge, management fees, if you want a developer to fully manage your property. So ideally, you want to look for something at least over the 8% mark for it to be a good investment. Now with us, we also give you 2 investments, your rental yield and your capital gain. And with the way we guarantee your capital gain is, and we would advise you always to purchase off plan. Even if you purchase at the end of the project, whereas we've already built it, you're still going to get a good ROI. You're still going to enjoy the rental. However, you've missed out on the capital gain by investing off plan. And the way we guarantee it is when we show you that we are going to be increasing our prices in certain stages. So when you buy it, let's say at the launch stage or currently at the stage that it's in now, you can get a studio with us right now around $88,000. If you do that, later on in the process, in the construction process, we will be increasing prices. Now, when I increase the price from 88 to, let's say, 95, you've already done an increased capital gain of 7K. All right? So thank you for that.
Def Traco?
Right. Okay, to simplify, answer your question, really, it really depends in terms of development and the location where the project is situated. Is a common sense, right? So that's one thing. With the current rate in the market, you're looking at realistically between absolutely minimum 9% to 12%. That would be absolutely realistic, which has been achieved, it's been tested tried. We have already have our existing projects which have been developed previously. We have delivered 7 projects in Accra, in all prime locations. You're talking about the cantonments, the Roman Ridge, Leboni, airport residential area. So all these localities where we have our projects, and they are all occupied, they've been delivered and developed. So we are looking at minimum between, like I said, 9% to 12% rental yield per annum. What good thing with DevTraco is, which is completely something different we came out with, which I don't think any other developer has at the moment in Ghana, is the hotel investment. Basically, is called the Pelican, which is based in cantonment area. So the hotel investment basically gives you a better and higher rental yield, which is actually hands-off kind of investment, which in fact, you buy a unit, a suite in the hotel, which is going to be operational from mid of next year, managed by a professional hotel management company, and then basically it gives you a return towards the end of the year. So you have options either to buy a whole suite in the hotel itself and to be managed fully by us. There's no maintenance fee, there's no management fees, there's no tenants hassle or anything like that. And these are the advantages. And then you also have 2 weeks every year to come and stay in your own hotel free of charge as an owner. And that's the Power Plus sort of a thing from that investment point of view. And that we're looking at between anything 12% above realistic rental yield per annum on that.
So we can conveniently say you're looking at between 8 and 12%.
Correct. Yeah.
As return on investment.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Across the
minimum,
industry.
you will not go less than 8% for sure at any location within that central Accra I'm talking about. I mean, it's twice as much as you earn in this country, in UK, because here, depending on the locality, the type of development which you're living in, type of unit you're renting in, is if you can achieve 3 to 4% average. But in Ghana, obviously, is more than double that. So which is, again, great opportunity for people buying, investing from now. And then as it goes along, your capital appreciation with the rental yield is a fantastic opportunity to go into that market.
With this, it sounds very convincing and attractive. What role will you play in that so we can get people signposts?
Yeah, so I think we're almost like the legal side. You get involved with us from the offset. So we would assess what you're buying property in Ghana for, if you're an investor, if you are buying for personal reasons, and then we will assess your finances and your budget. So we qualify you before you get to the developers, before you get to the banks. So we do all of that and process your application. So the time we've understood your needs, we will put forward only properties we know that financially you can afford, and B, what matches your requirements. So we know all the information on yields, on investment, which are the areas to invest in, which are the up-and-coming areas to invest in. So we cover all of that from the offset. And then we can signpost you to the developers, and then we say you're an on-point client, and that does help because we always negotiate a good deal for you. And then we oversee the process, literally from the beginning through to handover. So we're that intermediary there, acting in your interest all the time. And it's worked well. We've done several sales through DevTraco. We've done several sales through Gold Key, and it hasn't. I pick up the phone if you've got a question. I will speak to them. They're very responsive. What's up? At what time at night? And we make sure that the deal's being done transparently. Val is new to us, but we've already arranged many tours with clients who will come into Ghana. We can also arrange all your viewings in Ghana. So if you're traveling to Ghana, say for Christmas, you want to get in contact with Gold Key or all of them, we will organize all your viewings. Then when you're ready to make an offer, On Point gets back involved and make sure you're getting the best deal.
Thank you. Okay, so this is actually one for the legal people, and if any of you can answer. So obviously more and more people are buying apartments, whether for investment or to live or and all that. However, I know most apartments come with a lease, like a leasehold. So if I'm buying, and the time I'm buying, there's 45 years left. Most people, when we buy property, we want to leave it onto our family. The legal people, how important is it to know how much lease is left, and how that's going to affect, okay, maybe we'll be dead and gone, but when you want to leave it on to your children or family members? Because I think that's something that's important to touch upon.
Yeah, that's a very intelligent question. So Evans talked about non-Ghanaians. Our constitution and some of our regulation from the revolution time after the coup in 1966 was to restrict foreign ownership of freehold in Ghana. Freehold means, like what families have. There's no limit to the title. But for foreigners, you are limited to 50 years. So during the NLC time, a lot of people, those foreigners who had freehold, the law changed their title to leasehold. Always look out for who owns the freehold. Now, most leasehold and most of the properties they will be doing will be government land. Cantonment, more Laboni as well. And so if you're buying a 2-bedroom, let's say for 240,000, and it's 40 years lease, and somebody's buying 2-bedroom for, let's say, 250,000, and it's 60 years lease. Now, already you can see the difference. So what you should be interested in is what the lease say. Do you have a right of renewal? Okay. For government lands, it's almost automatic, because the one that we purchased, the land was owned by my uncle or Tutu. That's the edge. The edge. Yeah. So it was owned by my uncle. When he died, his daughter sold it. And the lease was left at about 37 years. But it's been renewed. And because it's government land, the renewal is automatic. Also, some of the lands around Airport Hills, you will get about 60 years. But again, you need to read a lease agreement to make sure that it's renewable. Because if you don't, then the law in Ghana means at the end of the lease, the land reverts back to the owner. So always negotiate that into your lease and say that you got a right, the first right to renew. And my experience is that I haven't come across anyone who's lost their property. No, never. It doesn't happen. But please, let's be sensible, because people are greedy. Airport Hills, for example, the people who sold the land, they've come back onto the land. They went to court, they lost 3 times, and they're still making noise. So it's always important to make sure you read the lease, and that's why Evans is there through on point. He will make sure that whatever is written on the lease is enforceable.
I don't think there's not much I can really add, but since I finished and I was just about to get out of this building, I got dragged back in again. But what I would add is this, in conclusion to what I'm going to say is, on point will be the connection point for us, I swear to you. Just make contact with those ladies there. Any issues that you have, what we will do, we'll identify specific lawyers that deal with specific issues. Not just have one lawyer that deals with everything, from your importing business down to the fufu ingredients that you have. One lawyer that deals with leases, one lawyer that deals with registrations, just a real tailored service. Because it's so difficult sometimes to answer specific questions uniquely. And what you want is a specialized service. So I'm going to throw it back to the microphone owner.
Thank you very much. We will be...
Actually, not quick, about 2 or 3 questions. One for Joe. Joe, can you give us a comment about the UK housing market? And Dev Traco, I spoke to you very briefly yesterday about hotel investments. I'm sure you are aware of the issues that have occurred in the UK hotel investment scheme. I'm sure your scheme is probably based on the same template. What guarantees have you got in that respect? Because there's been so many problems with that kind of scheme operating in the UK. I'm sure, Joe, you are aware of it. Yeah.
Yeah, please ask specifically, I mean, what problems are we talking about in specific here in the UK which you feel which needs to be addressed?
Basically, there's been a lot of mis-selling.
Mis-selling?
Yeah, people have been sort of lured into investing in these hotel investment schemes with all sorts of, promises, and it hasn't worked out.
Right. Okay. So, in regards to the actual sale of the hotel project which we have in Accra, is basically, first of all, is the property itself has been almost 90% built, and is just about 10% left, which needs to be finished off. And we are delivering this project by March next year, which is 4 months from today. Then it will take 2 more months from their onwards to be handed over to the hotel management company, which will become operational from June 2023. So the project is physically present on the ground, number one. Secondly, when you're buying the project or a suite, hotel, apartments with us, it's fully legally binded. Documentations are there. The contract has been signed between two parties. And basically, the rules and the terms and conditions are all described in those SPA, which is the sales purchase agreement, and it's absolutely legitimate, development. From the company point of view, as DevTraco, as you know, is a locally Ghanaian-owned company for the last almost 30 years, which has got fantastic reputation and the credibility in the market, and we have delivered more than 2,000 homes already. As a development point of view. And we have delivered most recently 7 projects in the last 5 years within Accra itself, which are residential and commercial. And there are about 3 more new projects we have in the pipeline, which we are going to be launching next year, first quarter, which are again mixed use of residential and commercial. And that's all again in the prime location within Accra, which is in Laboni, Cantonment, and the airport residential area. So from, I hope I'm answering the right question.
Sorry, the issues in the UK was more to do with occupancy. There was issues with occupancy rates because you cannot predict when people are actually going to be using these hotels. So it was more to do with the occupancy rate, and because people were not obviously patronizing, revenues were obviously low, and I think it created a lot of problems in the UK. And I'm sort of, trying to play devil's advocate here that if this was to happen in Ghana, or if God forbid, but if there was to be another COVID, then, you see where I'm coming from? You could have major issues there. Because it's something that I'm being selfish here, it's something that I'm personally interested in. So hence the reason why but we can speak on the side.
No, by all means, I totally appreciate what you're saying. Look, I mean, the thing is, if you're talking about the operational point of view of the hotel itself and the occupancy, if that's what you're referring to, we are partnered with a hotel management company which is headquartered in Dubai. They have got currently 10 properties in continent Africa, which they are managing, and they are successfully managing these hotel operations throughout the whole of Africa. Ghana is going to be their first property, which is the Pelican of DevTraco.
So, not to cut you short, I think the concern is the risk level and how you would be able to mitigate if there is anything that comes in and it's unforeseen, really, like COVID.
Right. Okay. Well, these are something which we unfortunately cannot control and predict. This is something which is unforeseen circumstances. Anything could happen tomorrow. World can come to an end. There's a war in Russia and Ukraine. We don't know anything possibly can happen. Like, you can't predict the future. But what we are saying here is that in terms of the COVID which was totally unexpected, we all know it was pandemic throughout the year, throughout the world, everybody has been affected, whether the small, medium, large businesses, hospitality industry especially was affected. And if there's something similar breakthrough as a natural disaster, which we don't have no control on it, that's something is impossible for us to predict. But when it comes to managing operationally and running as a successful project from the occupancy point of view, that we can assure you that we have done our due diligence. We have done our financial figures on it in terms of how much a return is physically, practically, realistically is achievable, which will be giving it back to our investors. That something is already in place. We are more than happy to share that information in documents.
Right. Yes, there was a question on mortgage. A quick comment on the UK mortgage market?
I mean, as you know, it's a very delicate place at the moment with regards to mortgages. Interest rates are increasing. Fixed rates have gone higher than they have been. This year, I was arranging quite a few mortgages in the 1% and the 2% range, and all of a sudden, 4, 5, 6 months on, we're in the 5 and 6% range. So it is a delicate space right now. We're hoping that, I would say personally, I'm hoping that within the next 2 to 3 years, I'd like to see rates coming down. I see a lot of banks encouraging you to go for 5-year fixed rates. They suddenly want you to fix for 5 years, and they're offering really attractive deals at 5 years compared to 2 years. Whereas historically, you would get 2-year deals that are looking a lot more attractive. And if you were going to go for 3 and 5-year fixed rates, even 7-year rates, you would have the rates increasing incrementally. But it's actually the opposite right now. They're saying to you to fix for longer, and the 2-year deals are not as attractive. So that tells me that from a personal point of view, and again, it is a prediction, it isn't a guaranteed return, a guaranteed outcome. I'm thinking, well, if that is the case, maybe the banks know secretly amongst themselves that perhaps rates may come down in the next 2 years or so. But it's a guess. We don't know. So I would just say it is a delicate place right now, and Carl, to answer that question, I think it's a delicate place. I mean, it's a personal it's a personal recommendation. It depends on your circumstance, and obviously you hear me say that a lot, but it really does.
Well, thank you very much. We are going to give the panelists a chance to briefly give a closing remark, and so that we can get people coming back to the stands for you to have those personal interactions with you. So I'll start with Val. In a brief moment, tell us about yourself and what we expect, and invite us to your stand.
Well, thank you. What you should expect from Val is expect more. It's our slogan. It's what we go by. So, and you would see that across all our projects. Expect more, whether it's more views, more amenities, more luxury. We go by it. I'm just going to give a quick example. Our Harmonia Villas, when we launched it, we said it was going to be done in 2 years, i.e. 24 months. And that was going to be Q2 of 2024. Right now, when we say expect more, we've actually brought it forward. And we're not just saying it, we're willing to write it down on paper right now with us. So right now, Harmonia Villas is going to be due in December 23 instead of Q2 of 24. Just something like that is just a little thing of how many things we do, Val. Expect more luxury and expect good offers. We have a number of rolling offers at the moment. So do come to our stand. I have a team there. They're more than happy to help and answer all of your questions. Get our details down. Write your contacts. We can follow up and keep giving you all the offers that we're offering. And look forward to meeting all of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, you could do better than that. Thank you. Gold Key.
Okay. Okay. So I think I mentioned this yesterday, and I'll say it today. Doing your due diligence is extremely important. Make sure you do not regret taking that step to buy the property. Regret it, because you will regret it for the rest of your life. It will set you back. Just make sure your budget, you work with a budget that works, for you, and you do not follow the crowd. Just don't go purchase a house in Ghana because everyone is. Just make sure it works for you. Do your due diligence, get to know the developer, and take that step. There's a whole to buy or to build dilemma, and it cuts across. Do you want to bear the cost of, owning the land with 5 other people? Do you want to bear the cost of your land not being registered, for 20 years? Do you want to bear the cost of having to chase people when you live in this country? Chasing carpenters, you just transfer the cost to the developer and, do due diligence and make sure that your returns make sense to you. So if someone tells you a studio is going to rent for 1,200, 300, make sure it makes sense to you. Just don't follow the lead. Just go with a credible developer, do your research, and test the waters, and it'll be great. Ghana is going through, everyone is thinking, should I put my money in the bank? Should I purchase? But this is the best time, because after a boom, after the seed in a trough, there's going to be an expansion. And this is something that's not new. It's happened, over centuries. And we're currently experiencing not just in Ghana, but across the globe. Things are hard in Ghana, things are hard here, things are hard everywhere. It's up to you to invest now. Take that step and make sure you do not regret it. Come to Gold Key, advice for residential, commercial. We're here to assist. Thank you.
Dev Chaco.
Okay, well, thank you again for the opportunity. Look, the most important thing is, I think, from the real estate point of view, when you are buying a property either as an investment or buy to live in, these are the only two things that one does. Basically, either you buy as an investment to receive the rental yield, or you actually buy to live in. So the most important thing, like my colleagues said already here from Gold Key, that the credibility of the developer itself, who is developing the property or the project, where are they developing the location, because property is all about really the location, which matters the most. If the location is great, you see the future potential in terms of growth. Ghana as a country, Accra as a capital city of Ghana is developing, is growing. There's a huge potential, massive opportunities out there. There are quite a few developers these days who are working in Accra and developing great properties, which are, some of them are residential, let's say, apartment units, or they are gated community townhouses, etc. I represent DevTraco Plus. DevTraco is a big brand, is a well-established household name in Ghana. It's been established, like I said, repeatedly. It's been nearly 30 years. We look for, obviously, the locations within the city itself, or just sort of in terms of prime locations. And we have tested and tried and been in terms of developments which we developed and already sort of delivered to investors and end users in Ghana. I've been personally involved in the real estate business for the last 20 years. I've been living in the last 10 years in Dubai. I've been working in London 5-6 years before that for real estate industry. And obviously I've been living in Malaysia for 4 years, in Singapore, and now in Ghana, in Accra, and I can assure you the potential in Ghana as a country, the opportunity point of view, development point of view is fantastic. And I genuinely can assure you that DevTraco as a name, what we have got currently in terms of our existing projects, we have 3 projects which are all in prime location, based in Cantonment, in Roman Ridge, and also in the Tema area, which is Community 20, which is the gated community project. So having said that, we have got 3 more projects I was mentioning earlier coming up next year, which are going to be in Labone area, and they are mixed-use urban development of residential and commercial plus retail. So there's a huge opportunity for anyone looking to invest and looking for any type of size or type of properties, whether it's a studio apartments, 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, duplex, penthouses, townhouses, villas. We have got pretty much everything covered for you. Even if you're looking for something in retail or have an office, we also have those type of developments coming up soon. And basically, if you need to know more about, we are on stand number 1, DevTraco Plus on my left. And by all means, come see us. We are happy to answer your questions. Come and take a goodie bag. We got some nice plantain chips, and also we got the nice, those little peanuts, which I brought specially all the way from Accra in my suitcase. So there are plenty of stuff we have got there. Give it to you. Please come and enjoy and help yourself.
Yesterday I found tiger nuts at one of the stands. Saka Holmes, do you still have it? Okay, I'm coming. Finally, Joseph.
Hi, how you doing?
Right, good.
I got to say, I'm excited. All of this is exciting. It's very exciting. So I'm a professional mortgage consultant. I'm the managing director of the company called the Professional Mortgage Specialist. We've been around for the last 4 years as a business. I personally have been in the industry over 13 years. I've probably arranged over £30 million worth of mortgages. So I'm very well versed in this business. I've got a stand this year over there, so by all means come and talk to me. I mean, what more is there to say? In terms of any other business, I don't just do mortgages as well, so I also do pensions, investments through a different entity. So if that was ever something you wanted to look at from in any other business point of view, then happy to talk to you. And yeah, that's all there is for me to say today, really. I didn't bring any plantain today, but that was a good one. That is a good one. I think for next time I probably would. But by all means, we've got some sweets. All right, so welcome, and it was a nice event.
They all deserve a round of applause. Please, let's put it together for my panel. Thank you very much. You can take your seats now. Thank you so very much.
The 6th edition of the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo has come to an end. Just for this year, it's been an amazing time. How did you find it?
It was very amazing. I could feel from the audience and the participants that the enthusiasm is there. People missed the in-person event, and they stayed throughout the presentations, they visited the stands, and I want to believe every developer, every exhibitor has made some sales.
For sure. So in case you've missed out this year, don't worry, 2023 is coming out. So make sure next year you are here in person in London at the Ghana Property and Lifestyle Expo. Well, from both of us, my name is Amake Ababrese.
My name is Kweku Owusu-Frimpong. Thank you so very much, and we invite you to join again, same time next year.
Take care.